Good evening, everybody. This is Mr. Gunderson coming from the comforts of my couch in my living room to give you vocabulary lesson number 4. Remember to write down the vocab word, the part of speech it's from, the definition, and then any examples that I provide or any that you think up on your own. Let's get started. The first word is bestride. This is a verb and it means to sit on something with a leg on each side of it, to straddle. So think of a saddle that goes on a horse. When you sit on it, you bestride it. You have legs on either side of it. Also think of motorcycles, bikes, as pictured here, a four-wheeler. Normally, again, you straddle it. You have a leg on each side of it as you ride it. Next word is bias. This is a verb, and this means to prejudice or influence. Okay, so a lot of times sports fans, they have their favorite team. They are very biased towards that team. So the Minnesota Vikings, I like the Vikings. I am biased towards them. I always think that, when I watch the Vikings, bad calls go against the Vikings because I'm biased. I want things to go well for my team. Another example of bias is kids. As parents, you're biased towards your kids. You know, you watch them in sports and you think, oh, that was a foul on your kid or whatever, or they didn't do something, they didn't do anything bad. It's because you're biased towards them. You kind of have a prejudice for them. So next word is botch. This is a verb and it means to spoil by poor work. And yikes, that's a scary picture. But this would be an example of a botched plastic surgery. As you can see, this person actually looks like, it kind of looked like a wax museum figurine or something, but this would be an example of a botched surgery. Another example of botch would be construction. So here you have a wall that's split down a toilet, and then so that's an example of botched construction. Also a water faucet that looks like it's going to go right, you turn the water on and water is going to flow right into an electric outlet. That would be examples of botched work, or to spoil by poor work. Bourgeois is our next word. This is an adjective and it means of or like the middle class, often referring to a focus upon material things and respectability. So, an example of the middle class are people, that they wake up and they go to work every day, they come home and they make their house payments, and they get their kids to things and this and that. I feel like I'm a part of the middle class. A lot of people that I know are part of the middle class. You're not rich, you're not poor, you're just kind of like right in the middle. And so this picture kind of just shows, an array of different people and an array of different careers. So that's the middle class, or the bourgeois. Breach is the next word. This is a noun. It's a violation of law, obligation, or standard, a gap or broken place. So there's a couple different things here. So here's a wall that obviously has a big hole in it. This is a gap or broken spot in the wall. This is a breach in the wall. And another example of that would be a contract. So if you break a contract, you're in violation of a law or an obligation. If you breach a contract, that's what that is. It's a violation. Next word is buffet. We're all familiar with this. This is a noun, and this is a meal set out so that people may serve themselves. Who doesn't love a buffet? Here we have a picture of lots of different food items. You go pick up your plate and you go through and scoop up the food that you want. We have a couple of different China buffets in Grand Rapids. If you go to a Sunday brunch buffet, at a number of restaurants have Sunday brunch buffets. But yeah, obviously that's an easy one. Next word is callous. This is an adjective and it means to be unfeeling or insensitive. And so here's an example of a homeless person sitting there and people just walking by. You know, that would be an example of being callous or unfeeling, insensitive. You know, maybe giving the guy some money or whatever, helping him out. Another example is, you know, making fun of someone, teasing someone, talking about them behind your back. That's being insensitive. That's being callous. Next word is canine. This is a noun, and this means any animal belonging to the dog family. So an example of that, look at those cute little Springer Spaniel puppies. Just adorable. Those are canines. Then, of course, if you talk about animals belonging to the dog family, this is a picture of a gray wolf. And yes, that's a part of the dog family. The next word is can't. This is a noun. This is definition is insincere talk or hypocrisy. And the best image I could find is think of someone that is kind of two-faced. You know, they talk really good about you to your face, but then maybe behind your back, they talk really bad about you, kind of as the picture shows there. So they're being kind of hypocritical. They say one thing but do another. That is can't. And the next word is carp. This is a verb, and the definition is to find fault in an unpleasant or nagging way, to complain. And so here's an example of a wife kind of nagging and complaining to her husband. I know that is very stereotypical, that not all wives do that, but it is stereotypical. It's kind of, you know, when you think of nagging or something like that, you always think of the wife nagging on the husband to go do this or go do that or whatever. All right, that's the end of the video. Those are your 10 vocab words. Again, fill out the Cornell notes, the term, part of speech, definition, examples. Get that turned in and get that ready to go by Friday. Vocab quiz on Friday. Good night.